Good evening, Commissioner Duarte. Can you hear us? Good evening, Commissioner Duarte. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, Chair
So I have-
Owens, we're
I
ready
have
when you are.
6:30.
Recording in progress.
All right. Got it, Mary. Thank you. So at this time, we're going to call to order a regular Planning Commission meeting. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the March 2nd, 2022 Planning Commission meeting. Please note that this meeting is being attended by the Planning Commission and applicants via teleconference. We thank you for your patience as we navigate city business, this new meeting process. For the benefit of the public, and as required by the Brown Act, all voting will be by roll call vote. I'll now call the meeting to order. Planning Secretary Kavanaugh, can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Uva,
Present.
Commissioner Ortiz,
Present.
Commissioner Duarte,
Present.
Vice Chair Montoya,
Present.
and Chair Owens.
Present, thank you. I'll now ask each commissioner if they have any announcements, agenda item requests, or meeting reports. Vice Chair Montoya.
I've got no announcements for me. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Duarte,
None for me, thank you.
Commissioner Ortiz,
None for me.
and Commissioner Uva.
None for me.
And I have none as well. Thank you. Now we move on to the part of the agenda, presentations. Deputy City Manager Schindler, are there any presentations tonight?
Good evening, Chair Owens. No presentations tonight.
Thank you. Deputy City Manager Schindler, are there any city council actions to report?
Chair Owens, no council items to report tonight.
Okay. We can now move into the public hearing item. The public hearing for site plan review application PLN 21-00135 located at 7530 Firestone Boulevard is now open. Deputy City Manager Schindler, can you introduce the staff person presenting this item?
Thank you, Chair Owens. Tonight we have our Assistant Planner, Giselle Enriquez, to provide our presentation.
Good evening, members of the Planning Commission. Just one second while I pull up my presentation. Can everyone see this okay? Awesome. Okay. So the item before you today is PLN 21-00135. It's a site plan review to request for an expansion and remodeling of the existing Hyundai dealership at 7550 Firestone Boulevard. This request is in order for Hyundai to comply with its corporate branding. The property is zoned C2 General Commercial. We can see it outlined here on blue. The properties to the north, east, and west are also zoned general commercial. We do have on the south residential properties. However, there is a 100 feet buffer created by railroad tracks between this site and the adjacent residential properties right here in this area. As I mentioned, these are the railroad tracks, the buffer that's created between the site and the property. So So this is the area of the subject site. It is a 2.52 acre lot located south of Firestone Boulevard. This is the existing street view. This project review is required to evaluate the site improvements of a 2,933 square foot expansion and facade remodel. And as part of the facade remodel, the tower feature here that you see along the front elevation will be removed to have the following proposed elevation. Again, corporate Hyundai mandates all national franchises to meet and match one architectural design for branding and uniformity. So you might be familiar to this type of architectural style in other cities that also have the Hyundai dealership. So the proposed design is a modern style architecture which outlines exterior bronze and aluminum features as well as large glass storefront windows for vehicle display. The aluminum panels are a wave-like pattern inspired by clouds in nature to match Hyundai's corporate branding. Though the zoning code allows for a 4-story high building, the project will maintain its one-story length or height. Sorry. This is the existing site layout. There are 2 entries along Firestone Boulevard. Along the front area, there's also a raised pavement, as I can point out here. We can see the 2 entries in these 2 areas. There's a raised pavement in this section, but does not allow for circulation from one area to the other. So along this application, the proposed development will remove raised concrete curb, modify the existing display vehicle area, and expand driveway to provide a 2-way circulation along this front area of the site. So this is the new display area for the vehicle. We have more display sections along this along the front of the building, and now we will be having circulation all throughout the site. Within the site plan, you are able to identify the expansion areas shaded in orange. The project will also include the installation of electric vehicle storage and battery within the existing EV service area. This is the landscaping for the project. The project will include almost 5,000 square feet of landscape area, consisting mainly of drought-tolerant vegetation. The landscape will incorporate a tier system with grass, shrubs, and trees. The project will maintain its existing Mexican palms and box trees, and will install additional drought-tolerant plants. And these are some of the examples of the drought-tolerant plants that will be installed along the front area of the property. No departments expressed major concerns or oppositions over the project and issued standard conditions. Public Works did provide information to advise the applicant regarding an existing sewer easement, but this easement does not provide any impediment to the proposed project. In conclusion, staff believes all findings can be made in a positive manner, and I'm available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Enriquez. At this time, does the secretary have proof of publication?
Yes, we do.
Thank you. And while we have Ms. Enriquez still at the dais or at her remote dais, do any of the commissioners have any questions of staff? Commissioner Montoya?
Just one question that you can hopefully clarify with me, Ms. Enriquez. So because the branding of Hyundai is copyrighted, there's no issues with regard to having the signage the way it is that conflicts with current county codes, correct?
You're referring to the signage?
Yes, yes.
All signage in terms of the size requirements will be evaluated in a separate permit.
Okay, all right. Then no further questions. Thank you, Ms. Enriquez. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioner Uva, any questions?
Chairman Owens, if I may.
Yes, please, go ahead.
So I just wanted to add Giselle's response for Commissioner Montoya. The answer is no. None of our sign requirements are going to conflict with the corporate standards of Hyundai. And we found that to be the case with any business, be it a retail small business or a large retail business. We actually get better sign product from the large national tenants. And this is an example of a nice, slick looking sign, which enhances the signs that we have in our community.
Right, thank you.
Commissioner Uva, any question of city staff?
Yes, I think so. My question, and it might be irrelevant, but usually when I go visit car dealers, there's never a place for the guests to park. Do we need to be concerned with that? Or is there an allotted guest parking?
So we do have guest parking all along the front area of the property, and
Okay.
The parking count meets the current zoning requirements. So they are
Okay.
compliant with parking.
They are. Okay, perfect. That's my only question. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Ortiz, questions of staff?
No questions for me.
Thank you. And Commissioner Duarte, questions of staff?
No questions to staff. I just have just a statement. I'm not gonna take it personal that I have the box sign still here in my office, but I'm not a big corporation, but no questions, just a statement.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. So before we begin the public hearing, I'd like to remind members of the public participating telephonically that the city's meeting rules contained in the Downey Municipal Code prohibit any conduct that disrupts, disturbs, or interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting, even if you are participating telephonically. Each speaker shall have 3 minutes to address the commission. Members of the public wishing to address the Planning Commission regarding the public hearing for item PLN-21-00135 only may now call our teleconference line at 562-299-6622. For those who submitted comments via email, your comments will be read into the record and no further public comment via teleconference will be permitted. I will now open the public hearing, and we'll start by inviting the applicant to address the commission. Before I call the applicant or his or her representative, this would be the time for planning commissioners to disclose any pre-hearing visits or pre-hearing discussions that the commissioners may have had about the project. I'll now ask each commissioner, I'll hang on to that and we'll bring the applicant, or we'll take the phone calls and or the emails from the public at this time. Secretary Kavanaugh, do you have the first speaker on the line?
There are no calls nor written comments for this item.
Thank you. At this time, is the applicant on the call, on the Zoom meeting, and would like to make comment about the project?
It's
Could you state your name and your address, please, for the record?
name Ray Malhotra, address 7550 Firestone Boulevard, Downey. No comments at this time. It's just that we are required to comply with the Hyundai branding requirement. It was a requirement when we moved into the city from Commerce in the year 2017, and then we kind of delayed it because we were just coming in and getting settled in, and then the pandemic came. So now the timing is right, and they did change the requirement from them to now, so it works out better. I have seen these facilities built from ground up, and they are just beautiful. I believe by having a modern and more inviting facility, it will just serve the customers better. Hyundai has come a long way since now, and their vehicles are all very technology savvy, and this will be a very good thing for us and for the city as a whole. It will be a great partnership, and it'll be very good for the customers as well.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So at this time, we'll go back through the commissioners. Do you have any questions of the applicant? Vice Chair Montoya?
No questions.
Commissioner Uva?
No questions.
Commissioner Ortiz?
No questions, Chair.
Commissioner Duarte?
None for me.
And I have none either. Thank you, sir. So we have no speakers. We have no written comment. The applicant doesn't have any rebuttal because there was nothing said that, unless he wants to continue to tell us. All right. If not, I can go to each commissioner and ask you what you feel about the project. Vice Chair Montoya.
Excuse me, do we need to close public comment?
I'm sorry. I'm trying to follow the notes. They're a little, yeah. At this time, I'll close public comment. Now we'll go to commissioner deliberation. Commissioner or Vice Chair Montoya.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, all I wanted to say is, I mean, I know that, with branding, headquarters kind of expects a certain design and style with each dealership, but I think it's great that the applicant is continuing to invest in his business in Downey, and I think it's going to look great once it's done. So, thank you for continuing to do work with the city. And that concludes my comments, Mr. Chairman.
And thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioner Uva, any comment?
No comments. No comments other than I really like it. It looks really lovely. I love all the glass in the front, and love the color scheme as well. It's real sleek and nice.
Thank you.
That's it.
Commissioner Ortiz.
I'm echoing the same sentiments. I think it's a great upgrade to what it is now, and so I'm ready to move forward.
Commissioner Duarte.
Yeah, same comments. I just want to thank the applicant for bringing his business here from City of Commerce to Downey. Looks great.
As well, I agree with my colleague commissioners. This is quite an upgrade. It'd be very nice. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion.
I motion to pass PLN-21-00135.
And is there a second?
I can second it.
Okay. And Secretary Kavanaugh, since we have a motion and a second, could you take the roll call vote?
Thank you. Commissioner Uva,
Yes.
Commissioner Ortiz,
Yes.
Commissioner Duarte,
Yes.
Vice Chair Montoya,
Yes.
and Chair Owens.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes unanimously in favor of PLN 21-00135 for a site plan review.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is the non-agenda public comments. This portion of the agenda provides an opportunity for the public to address the Planning Commission on items within the jurisdiction of the Planning Commission and not listed on the agenda. It is requested but not required that you state your name, address, and subject matter upon which you wish to speak. Please limit your comments to no more than 3 minutes. Pursuant to the Brown Act, no discussion or action other than a brief response, referral to the city planning staff, or schedule for a subsequent agenda shall be taken by the Planning Commission on any issue brought forth under this section. Before we begin the non-agenda public comment period, I'd like to remind members of the public participating telephonically that the city's meeting rules contained in the Downey Municipal Code prohibit any conduct that disrupts, disturbs, or interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting, even if you are participating telephonically. Each speaker shall have 3 minutes to address the commission on issues that are within commission's jurisdiction. Members of the public wishing to address the Planning Commission regarding non-agenda public comments only may now call our teleconference line at 562-299-6622. For those who submitted comments via email, your comments will be read into the record and no further public comment via teleconference will be permitted. Secretary Kavanaugh, may I have the first speaker on the phone?
There are no calls or written comments for non-agenda public comments.
All right, so at this time, we'll now close the non-agenda public comments and move on to the consent calendar. Items in this section will be voted on in one motion unless a commissioner or citizen requests separate actions. Anyone wishing to discuss the consent calendar item should be recognized by the chairman, state name, address, and agenda item number. Further, any consent calendar items removed from the agenda will be considered by the commission following the public hearing items. So we have 2 items tonight. Before we begin the consent calendar comment period, I'd like to again remind members of the public participating telephonically that the city's meeting rules contained in the Downey Municipal Code prohibit any conduct that disrupts, disturbs, or interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting, even if you are participating telephonically. Each speaker shall have 3 minutes to address the commission on consent calendar items. Members of the public wishing to address the Planning Commission regarding consent calendar item only may now call our teleconference line at 562-299-6622. For those who submitted comments via email, your comments will be read into the record and no further public comment via teleconference will be permitted. Secretary Kavanaugh may have the first speaker on the phone.
Chair Owens, there are no calls for public comments for the consent calendar nor written comments.
All right, thank you. So at this time, we will now close the consent calendar public comments. I will now ask each commissioner if they have any question or comment or any consent calendar item. Vice Chair Montoya.
No questions or comments, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Uva.
Nothing for me.
Thank you. Commissioner Ortiz
No questions, Chair. Thank you.
and Commissioner Duarte.
None for me, thank you.
And I have no questions, but I do have one comment on voting the consent calendar on the whole. Since I was not in attendance for the November 3rd meeting, I will not participate. So we probably need a separate motion for each, or
you can make a motion to approve the consent calendar items 2 and 3, noting your abstention, the chair owns abstention for item number 3, the minutes.
all right. So can we get a motion to that effect, please?
A motion to pass consent calendars 2 and 3.
Second.
All right. So with a motion and a second, Secretary Kavanaugh, could you take roll in regards to the voting on the consent calendar?
Commissioner Uva,
Yes.
Commissioner Ortiz,
Yes.
Commissioner Duarte,
Yes.
Vice Chair Montoya,
Yes.
and Chair Owens.
I'm going to abstain on item 3.
Okay, and the motion passes to approve the consent calendar with Chair Owens' abstention.
Abstention as to item number 3.
Good. So at this time, any other business? Vice Chair Montoya,
No business to report, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Uva.
Just one simple little thing. I was able to attend the ribbon cutting ceremony for Candyland that we approved, I don't know, a couple months ago. Really nice to see the project completed and meet the family. And I'm very proud of them. They're Downey high school students. They don't live in Downey anymore, but they did attend school in Downey, and we need to try to get them some business. It's a really cute place. It's a great place to bring kids to run around and play. There's a lot of activities in there for children.
What was the location?
It's in the Stonewood Mall, and it's a children's play area with slides and all kinds of little activities for really young kids and then the older kids.
Oh, great. Sounds like a great place. Thank you. So Commissioner Ortiz, any additional other business?
Yes. Well, there's 3 things I want to mention. The first one, prayers to everybody in Ukraine, and hopefully it doesn't escalate further. Also, happy Lent season for everybody. I hope you have a great Lent season. And the other question I have, and maybe this is for staff, and you can help me out here. In regards to any item that's sent over to us, when you mentioned that it's published, it is published at the Downey Patriot, or where is it published at?
Publication occurs in the Downey Patriot.
Okay.
At least 10 days before the meeting date.
10 days. Okay. So I just wanted to see if there's any way that I can work with staff, or you guys can help me out, so we can expand informing more of our community of anything that comes forward for the planning commissioning, and see if there's anything that we can create or better help our community for anything in particular that comes forward for us.
Sure.
Sure, Commissioner, if I may, Crystal.
Sure.
The agendas are also posted on our social media channels. So on our Facebook page, on our Twitter page, and on our Instagram pages. And so where we would seek your help is to blast those out as well. You know, there's entities like the Downey Patriot or Downey Latino that pick up the city's feeds, and they may choose, you know, what they may want to share. But we then seek, you know, anybody that's following Downey to grab those and to blast them out even further. We also post the agendas online at our city's website. The challenge is, and I say this tongue in cheek, is, you know, government isn't a sexy business, and so people don't generally tend to follow us. If somebody's following us on Facebook or on those other social media feeds, they'll see it. We've also worked diligently to recraft the agenda so it's social media friendly. So the agenda that you see in front of you for tonight's meeting is not the same layout that you see on social media. We're trying, it's a work in progress. So we also welcome any suggestions in terms of making our information more user-friendly. We are, you know, a conservative, you know, form of business, and that being government. So we can't get all crazy with fonts and advertising and all that stuff. You know, there is a sense of the letter of the law that we need to follow. But if there is an avenue that we've missed, let us know. You know, we have a lot of neighborhood associations within our community. So, you know, we'd seek you guys to blast those to those organizations. There's a Nextdoor app as well. You know, we're open to sharing them with them. You know, Positively Downey, I'm not sure if they pick up, you know, what's posted there as well. We understand, you know, the 800-pound gorilla in the room is the Ojos Locos issue that came before us. And we've been fielding calls like crazy since Thursday when it was posted in the Downey Patriot. And a lot of those calls are, I didn't know about it. And as we spend anywhere from 20 to 45 minutes with each call, and we've gotten probably about 65 calls. So we spent a good amount of our working and waking hours since then talking to people. We conclude with, please follow us on Facebook, and you'll be able to see what's coming down the pike. I've also said at our public meetings, specifically around our planning activities, the residential design standard that you approved, any specific plans that come before you that we've worked, you know, over a long period of time in the community, is please follow us on Facebook. And we also understand and are empathetic that social media is driven by a certain demographic. And so usually, you know, if you're in a demographic towards, you know, the twilight of your life, you're not following social media as you are if you're in, you know, your 20s or 30s. So we implore people to follow us on social media, and that's where you can track these activities as well.
And there's a specific Facebook or Instagram for Planning Commission, or you're referring to this Downey general Instagram?
It's the cities.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I appreciate it. Thank you, staff. Thank you all.
Sure. No problem.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Duarte, any other business to discuss?
No, not for me. Thank you.
And I have none. So at this time, I would take staff member comments. Aldo, do you have anything else for us, or Crystal, anything else for us, or Giselle?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Chair Owens. So what I'd like to address immediately is I see two visitors in our Zoom meeting, and I also empathize that our meetings are hard to decipher in terms of the protocols. Being in this business for a long time, it's something that I don't want to take for granted. You know, people want to get involved with City Hall, and they usually don't unless they're paying a parking ticket. So as Commissioner Ortiz, you know, brought up, and it's a good thing to talk about, is how to expand that. So, you know, on the screen, I see a Marcella and a Miss Alvarez. So unfortunately, you're not going to be able to participate tonight because we're at the conclusion of our meeting. But please go on our city's website, go to the Community Development Department and give us a call, and we will chat with you about anything that's on your mind in regard to prior actions that have been taken, or any actions on tonight's agenda, or any actions that are coming up, or in general. Have a conversation on how you can get involved, or once again, how you can track the activities of the Planning Commission as well. And so my other update is The city staff were successful in persuading the state of California's COVID residential rent payment program to come to our city more frequently. They previously visited our city on a quarterly basis, and we just wanted to make sure that we expanded that resource to our community. So we have them here now on a weekly basis, where they have workshops. They're appointment only, but once again, we're blasting this out through all of our social media outlets. And so remember, the state still has money to pay for 100% of somebody's rent and their utilities dating back to April 2020 to current date if they've been negatively affected by COVID. So that concludes my presentation, Chairman.
Thank you for that information, although it's much appreciated. So at this time, seeing no further business, I will call for adjournment, and we'll reconvene Wednesday, March 16 at 6:30 p.m. Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.